Snow White's story. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful princess named Snow White. She was kind and gentle and a friend to all animals. One day, Snow White met a charming prince. As they sang a song of love together, Snow White's evil stepmother, the queen, watched them. The queen was so jealous of Snow White's beauty that she ordered her huntsman to kill the young princess. But the huntsman couldn't bring himself to hurt Snow White. He told her to run far away so the queen would never find her. Snow White ran deep into the woods. She was lost and scared, but soon found herself in front of a cottage. The princess knocked, but no one was home. She slowly stepped inside. The cottage was a mess. With the help of her forest friends, Snow White cleaned every nook and cranny. "Maybe whoever lives here will let me stay," said Snow White. Upstairs, Snow White found 7 little beds. She thought they belonged to children. Tired from cleaning, Snow White yawned as she curled up on the beds and fell asleep. Meanwhile, the 7 dwarfs were heading home from a long day of working in a jewel mine. They were anxious to get home to their cottage in the woods. The 7 dwarfs were surprised when they found a princess inside their home. When Snow White awoke, she was charmed by the 7 dwarfs: Dopey, Sneezy, Happy, Grumpy, Doc, Bashful, and Sleepy. The dwarfs wanted to protect the beautiful princess from the evil queen, so they invited Snow White to live with them. To celebrate, the new friends sang and danced the night away. Back at the castle, the queen learned that Snow White was still alive. Enraged, she made a magic potion to change her appearance. Her plan was to trick the princess. After the dwarfs had set off for work the next day, the queen, disguised as an old peddler woman, offered Snow White a beautiful red apple. Snow White took one bite of the apple and fell into a deep sleep. The queen had poisoned her. When the dwarfs came home, they chased the queen to the top of a stormy mountain. Suddenly, lightning hit the mountain, and the queen fell, never to be seen again. But Snow White was still in a deep sleep. The 7 dwarfs kept watch over her day and night. Finally, Snow White's Prince Charming arrived. He had been searching everywhere for the beautiful princess he had sung with so long ago. The prince awakened Snow White with love's first kiss. The spell was broken. Snow White and the prince returned to the kingdom and lived happily ever after. The end. Cinderella's story. Once upon a time, there was a kind girl named Cinderella. All of the animals loved her, especially 2 mice named Gus and Jacques. They'd do anything for the girl they called Cinderella. Cinderella lived with her stepmother and her 2 stepsisters, Anastasia and Drizella. They were very mean to Cinderella's stepmother, Lady Tremaine. They were very mean to Cinderella, making her work all day cleaning, sewing, and cooking. She tried her best to make them happy. Cinderella's stepmother, Lady Tremaine, was cold, cruel, and jealous of Cinderella's charm and beauty. She enjoyed giving Cinderella extra chores to do, such as bathing her cat Lucifer. One day, a messenger arrived with a special invitation. There was going to be a royal ball at the palace. The king wanted his son to find a bride. Every young woman in the kingdom was invited, including Cinderella. Cinderella was very excited about the ball. In the attic, she found a dress that had belonged to her mother. It was a bit old-fashioned, but Cinderella could make it beautiful. Lady Tremaine didn't want Cinderella to go to the ball. She wanted the prince to meet Anastasia and Drizella. Maybe he would marry one of them. Lady Tremaine kept Cinderella busy with chores that would take her all night to finish. While Cinderella was working, the mice and birds fixed her dress. They added ribbons and beads that the 2 stepsisters had thrown away. Working together, the animals turned a simple dress into a fabulous gown. Cinderella was overjoyed when she saw the dress. Now she could go to the ball. "Oh, thank you so much," Cinderella said to Gus, Jacques, and the birds. When the stepsisters saw their old ribbons and beads on Cinderella's dress, they flew into a rage. They ripped the dress and pulled off the beads. Lady Tremaine didn't stop them. Cinderella's dream of going to the ball was through. Cinderella ran away to the garden to cry. Suddenly, her fairy godmother appeared. With a wave of her wand, she turned a pumpkin into an elegant coach. Cinderella could now go to the ball, but her dress was still ruined. "Bibbidi-bobbidi-boo," said the fairy godmother, waving her wand again. Cinderella was now wearing a beautiful gown and sparkling glass slippers. But all of this came with a warning. When the clock struck midnight, the magic spell would wear off. At the ball, Prince Charming couldn't take his eyes off Cinderella. The orchestra played, and the prince began to dance with the wonderful girl whose name he still didn't know. For Cinderella, the night was a dream come true. Before too long, the clock began to strike midnight. "Goodbye," Cinderella said, hurrying away. "Come back," called the prince. "I don't even know your name." As Cinderella fled, one of her glass slippers came off. The prince sent the Grand Duke to find the girl who fit the glass slipper. Lady Tremaine locked Cinderella in the attic. But Cinderella's mouse friends freed her. Then, Lady Tremaine tripped the Grand Duke, and the glass slipper shattered. But Cinderella had the other in her pocket, and it fit. Cinderella and the prince were soon married. Everyone rejoiced, including Cinderella's mouse friends, who wore special outfits to the wedding. Filled with joy, Prince Charming and Cinderella lived happily ever after. Aurora's story. Long ago in a faraway land, a king and his fair queen were blessed with a beautiful baby girl. They named their daughter Aurora, for she filled their lives with light like the dawn. Visitors from throughout the kingdom came to celebrate the birth of the princess, including the 3 good fairies who arrived with gifts. Waving their wands, Flora gave the princess the gift of beauty, while Fauna gave her the gift of song. Merryweather was about to bestow her gift when the evil fairy Maleficent appeared in a flash of green fire. She wanted to give the princess something too, a terrible curse. Before the sun set on her 16th birthday, Aurora would prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die. Luckily, Merryweather still had a gift to give. She cast her spell to soften Maleficent's curse. Now, Aurora would not die when she pricked her finger. She would simply fall into a deep slumber, only to be awakened with true love's kiss. However, the king and his queen were still very concerned about the safety of their daughter. And so, with heavy hearts, they agreed that the 3 good fairies, disguised as peasant women, would raise the child in secret far away from the castle. Over the years, the child grew into a beautiful young woman who made friends with all of the forest animals. Her 3 aunties called her Briar Rose and surrounded her with love, but they never told her the secret of her past. On the day of her 16th birthday, Briar Rose still did not know that she was a princess. She spent the morning singing to her friends about how she'd had a glorious dream. In it, she'd met the most wonderful prince. Briar Rose was convinced he was her true love. Little did Briar Rose know, a prince was passing nearby at that moment. He was Prince Philip, the very prince that the king and queen had planned for her to marry. Philip didn't know that Briar Rose was a princess either, but he was so taken with her beautiful song, he hopped off his horse. Philip emerged from the trees, and as he and Briar Rose sang and danced together, she realized that this man reminded her of the prince in her dreams. She felt as if she'd always known him. Briar Rose was excited for him to meet her aunties, so she invited him to come to the cottage that evening. She knew that she was falling in love. But when Briar Rose returned to the cottage, her aunties told her that they were good fairies, and she was a princess. She was supposed to return to her parents' castle that night. There, she would meet the prince she was already engaged to marry. Briar Rose was overcome with sadness. She only wanted to marry the man she had just met, her dream prince. When Aurora arrived at the castle, the 3 fairies left her alone to mourn. But Maleficent soon appeared to make sure her curse came true. She put Aurora in a trance and led the princess to a spindle hidden high in the castle. There, Aurora pricked her finger and fell into a deep sleep. When the 3 fairies found Aurora, they realized that Maleficent's evil curse had come true. They took the sleeping princess to the tower room and then cast a deep sleep over the whole kingdom. Now they had to find Aurora's true love from the forest so he could give her true love's kiss. It didn't take the three fairies long to recognize that Prince Philip was the man Aurora had met in the forest. Her betrothed was her true love. But he was in Maleficent's dungeon. The fairies freed him and then armed him with the sword of truth and the shield of virtue. Now he was prepared to fight the evil fairy and save Aurora. But the evil fairy was not easy to defeat. Back at the castle, Philip came face to face with Maleficent, who had transformed herself into a giant fire-breathing dragon. However, with the help of the three good fairies, Philip was able to send his sword flying swift and sure. With Maleficent gone, Philip rushed to Aurora's side and bestowed a gentle kiss upon her lips. Aurora's eyes fluttered open. The curse had been broken. When she saw her beloved, the man from the forest, she smiled. Now the prince and princess could live happily ever after. The end.